This week, we're taking off the rotors. We're going to clean out the interior, do some quick dirty patching on the floors. Temporary, nothing permanent. And then, we're going to play with some chrome spray paint. Stay tuned for more fun. That's right. This week, we're going to play with some chrome paint. But first, before you do the chrome paint, you got to do some black paint. I'm not going to bother with any primer because this is just a test fire. Once that's dry, you get to put on the chrome paint. I've got some pretty high expectations on this stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint this because who the heck wants an olive drab green cup when you can have a chrome cup instead? If it comes out good, I'm going to put some kind of cool sticker on it covering up the Starbucks logo. Yeah, that's ugly. And then have the wife put the epoxy over it, and then I'll have a really cool cold beverage cup. Since we got to deal with dry times for this, I figure I'm going to go ahead and start on this first. That green paint, it's flat paint, that olive drab, just like you would think for camouflage. So I'm going to start with that stuff. It's already rough. I'm going to call that primer. I'm going to tape that off so I don't get any black paint in there or chrome. And then I'm going to go ahead and shoot it up and see how this stuff works. Like I said, I got some pretty high expectations. I'm pretty excited on this stuff. Hopefully it doesn't take much talent. If all this comes out good, then I've got a bumper that goes on the front of this. It's going to get done. I was going to paint the bumpers the same color as the engine, the dark cast iron paint, and roll with that. And it'd be a good contrast. It'd look okay, but I think chrome would look better. Only reason I wasn't going chrome is because who's got money to have things re-chromed? That's expensive. And I know it's not going to be 100% beautiful show chrome, but there's nothing beautiful or show about this thing. None of this is rocket science. Really basic stuff. Painter's tape. Taped it up. Now I'm going to shoot it. We'll let that dry for a few minutes. This is simple, basic maintenance stuff here, but I've got at least one trick here that could save you a lot of time, frustration, money even. I'm going to take off this rotor. I'm going to show you how to take off the seal without totally kerfagling the seal. And then this rotor will get thrown away. I'll probably hold on to it until the new parts come in so you can see exactly how huge the difference is. They make a special tool to do this, but you don't need to buy that. Just get in there, twist it off, boom, that's it. So then there's the cotter pin in here. And again, it's not rocket science. If it was rocket science, it'd be an Oldsmobile. Nice. I blame China. You can use a ratchet with a socket, you can use a wrench, or you can just use some channies. It's not under a whole lot of pressure. See, look at that. Alright, get this nut off. If you're putting this stuff back together, if this is your first time, you can lay stuff out in order, even right here on the concrete. You can go like this, just go dust cap, nut, broken cotter pin, then nut. Now, back to here. You just pull that off a little bit, and then you get two more pieces here. A flat washer, and on this model, very small bearings. And of course, if you're going to reuse this, you'd want to inspect all the bearings, the entire surface of every bearing as you roll it around, looking for pits, looking for rust, especially if it's something that's been sitting for a long time like this thing. I suspect these are actually new bearings, but when Josh pulled this turd out of the junkyard, it probably needed bearings. Boom, boom, boom. The reality is I'm not going to reuse this stuff, so it doesn't matter. But you can do that just so you don't get confused, so you don't get lost. Now, you just pull the rotor off, right? On the back side, you've got a grease seal right here, and then you got bearings on the inside of the grease seal. So with the bearing and the washer off, you put the hub back on and put the nut on. Then you slide the hub off like that, and you let the hub slide down the spindle until you feel it grab, right? Then you just go like that. There's your bearings. There's your seal. Also, you can reuse this. Clean it up, inspect it, make sure it's still good, but you can reuse it once, maybe even twice. Just saved you money now too. The problem is the project car that doesn't run is it gets filled with junk. Lots of junk. And discs. I have to completely redo this. It looks pretty bad anyways. Yeah, need that. It's time. So far, I'm not too impressed. Plot twist. There's absolutely no reason for me to put these panels in looking as bad as they do. I've got a couple cans of this. I already sprayed this down with Windex, wiped it all down with paper towel. I highly doubt this thing's seen Armor All in 100 years. Nice. Stuff's okay. Definitely not for a show car. Good enough for a Chevette though. All these scuffs show a different color of blue. The scuff is still there obviously, but now it's not screaming for your attention. Now you have to look for it. Like I said, definitely not for a show car. Not too thrilled with this stuff. Way too glossy. It runs way too easily. It looks like cheap spray paint over the plastic. If your interior panels are really, really hammered and look bad, like a red interior that's faded to pink, it might be worth your time. I give it 2 stars. I would not poop here again. The contact buzz is pretty good though. I'll have to change my opinion on that vinyl spray dye. It doesn't look like cheap spray paint. It's not a 2 out of 10, or no, what did I say? 2 out of 5 stars, won't poop here again. I give it probably about a 4, 4.5. Here, check this out. A nice, even sheen. It's not super glossy like it was before. However, here's the part that does blow. The runs are terrible. You definitely have to do multiple light coats. Don't just go gung-ho on it. So that one looks terrible. This one, not too shabby. Maybe I will poop here again. Okay, so we got this huge hole here that we don't want. So I just took some sheet metal, galvanized, I don't know how thick that is, and cut it to roughly that kind of size-ish. And then some self-tapping screws. Just like that. Then you ask it to bend. And when it doesn't bend, you stop asking it and then you tell it to bend. Just like that. Once the carpet's on top of that, nobody will ever know what's going on. And what's even better is I plan on making a console to go from here to here. And that is how you half-ass floorboards. Unfortunately, this is one of those fixes that's good enough for now, except that for now ends up being for a long time. I'll maybe weld in some floorboards over here because I'm going to do the same thing over here that I just did right here. I don't have time, and honestly right now I don't have the patience to do that properly. And then one day I may pull it all back out and do it properly. I may just drive it like this forever. When you get real fancy, you can take some seam sealer or just some silicone. Seam sealer would be better, but this is obviously half-assed anyways. Shits and giggles. That is practically factory. That's like NOS right there. Thing is, it's really not that terrible. It definitely isn't good, but it's not terrible. I'd give that, as far as half-assing goes, I'd give that at least an 8 out of 10. As far as fixing it properly, it's only like a 2 or a 3. I'm not asking you to go in, I'm telling you to go in. I'll just see it my way. That's not going anywhere. That is as good as it gets. I think I'm going to take a grinder and clean this up because that could make me bleed. Looking good, looking clean. Yeah, that's the good piece. When you cut out the floorboards, you got to make sure you leave plenty of meat to bolt onto. Yeah, something strong. Something structural. That's perfect. Then there's times where you just don't have the tools, like a brake. But then there's a way around that too. Now all I got to do is bend and make a clean line from here to here. Of course, remember, clean is relative. So once you've got the contour really, really close, you got the relief cuts and everything, then you toss it in place and just beat it to fit. Custom. Once I get this screwed in and I show it to you guys, you're gonna be surprised it actually looks pretty decent.